Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the second episode of the Jacob and Me podcast. We are running a little late on the release. Huh?
Isn't this 3?
No, this is 2.
Are you sure about that?
Draft would be 3.
Okay.
This is 2.
I'm retarded.
Do I get another check mark?
Yeah, I guess, if we're keeping track.
Thank you. You got me off track a little bit there. Sorry. This is a podcast and oh my god, show.
Maybe we should just
where we just nerd out on stuff and talk about it. Where we nerd out on stuff and we talk about it basically on movies, video games, and life.
Yeah.
And other weird
whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah, basically. This episode was going to be a lot on E3, some Star Wars stuff in there. But before you do that, go ahead and subscribe and like the video. And if you're listening on the audio version of this and you're not watching us, go ahead and follow us on whatever audio services we are on at the moment, at the time that this is recording. Because it might be different or expanded. But yes, it doesn't matter. So thank you. And let's get into the meat of, or the first topic of the show. Which is our Han Solo review. We watched Han Solo.
It's been a week now.
Yeah, it's been a week, more than a week now.
Yeah.
Yes. So we watched Han Solo. Like I did ask you last time for the Deadpool thoughts and review, whatever you want to call it. What was your favorite scene in the movie?
Are we going full spoilers right away?
Yeah, spoilers. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah,
spoiler alert. Heavy spoiler alert. Immediately heavy spoiler.
I mean, apparently not a lot of people have watched this movie.
Yeah,
so.
That's true. We'll get into that a little bit. For me, my favorite scene has to be the Maul reveal, the Darth Maul reveal. I don't really think that there is anywhere else to go with it. I think that them finally recognizing that part of the canon is really big. I think it presents the most interesting option. Well, I guess it's all in context of when we saw it, we weren't expecting Solo to bomb at the box office like it did. So I think it only did like 80-some million.
I think it's at
domestically the first weekend.
Yeah, I think it's going to be at like 40 or no 400. I think it's like
the total will be at 400.
But
okay,
then
so like
that's
400
before
to 500.
like international numbers as well. From the last time I checked, but it's not
okay,
looking
so half
good
a billion,
regardless.
Half a billion, you think maybe?
Yeah,
like
I think, but I think it's cost. I think over 3 for sure.
It's not making its money back probably because they had they did a bunch of reshoots when they brought Ron Howard back in,
and then
all the marketing.
So obviously, like it's not going to be good on that, but it might be. I think you sent me an article, and it might be good for Star Wars as like a wake up call in a way.
Well, yeah, that article was just like it's good saying that the failure of Solo is kind of like the perfect movie for Star Wars to have its first misstep because it's not really anything like it's not an episode. It's not one of the episodes. It's not really a movie that people wanted to begin with, and obviously that played into what you saw at the box office.
Yeah.
But I think that this is the best movie for Star Wars to have had its first failure because it's like people are gonna really easily brush it aside. I think in like the greater scheme of Star Wars, I think like not a lot of people are going to care about this movie, and care whether or not it like was successful.
I think another thing to account for it is just everyone already has a bad taste in their mouth from the last Star Wars movie. I feel, and like a lot of people.
I don't know. There were a lot of people that really liked it.
I know there's a lot of people that liked it, but I feel like a majority of people that I've talked about with it, just like they just were not satisfied with the movie, and one way to not contribute to the next movie is not, or to for another Star Wars movie is to not go to the next one. I think it's definitely a better movie than Last Jedi for me, just because I felt like it was a good movie, like from start to beginning or start to finish. I felt like it was. I was paying attention to it more from start to beginning than I was for Last Jedi because I was just like I was more or less looking for loop scenes.
Okay.
Just because I don't know, that's the way it went, the way how the scenes with like Finn and the scenes with Poe were just not very appealing, I guess, to me.
I mean, I agree with you that I think Solo is a better movie than The Last Jedi as well.
Yeah.
But I would not at all say that I was paying more attention to Solo than I was The Last Jedi. Like Solo for me going into it was just like, oh, it's a Star Wars movie, I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah.
It's not really a movie that I felt was necessary, and I don't think that Disney and Star Wars did a good job of justifying its existence. Like at the end of that movie, I'm not like, wow, like they need to make another one, and I'm also like, wow, that really added something to Han Solo or anything to me. Like seeing The Last Jedi, like I was all in. I was paying attention to every little detail, every single scene.
I think it was me just being disappointed from like when we find out what the relationships between different specific characters and stuff, and like their background. When you find out more stuff, that's when I was just like, no, I'm like not into it as much. But anyways, let's get back to Solo and talk about our favorite scene in the movie then.
Okay, yeah. So as we said before, we like derailed a little bit there. I think the best scene, really the only scene worth seeing again, worth watching the movie for, was the Darth Maul reveal in the last like 20 minutes. I think that it presents the most interesting options if they continue down this. So Alden Ehrenreich has signed on for 3 films, so obviously, unless they have something completely random up their sleeve, I think they kind of intended for this to be a trilogy of prequel movies.
The Solo character, right? That's what we're talking about. What's his name? Okay. But I think so that's then going into the conversation of like, is there going to even be another Solo movie? Well, like Disney's like, oh, this doesn't sell as much.
Right. So, that's what I was saying.
That's a problem.
So the Maul thing was my favorite thing about this movie, but with how much how much Solo's bombed at the box office, like they may not even expand on
Maul.
Right, like it could end up being a dead end. At the time when we came out of the theater, it was like, oh man, look, like all the different things that they could do with Darth Maul and the stories that they could tell. But like, if they don't make their money back on this movie, like,
there's no point.
This is going to be for nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think the unfortunate thing is that you can't really put a guy in that situation and have him be successful in a way, because like it's Han Solo. Everyone's just like, they're so protective over it, obviously, and it's just like, I think even if he had like an Oscar-winning performance, I think still people would have been like, it's not Han Solo. Like, you know what I mean? There's just like, people just don't buy into it. So regardless of whatever it's gonna happen, I think people are already gonna have like a negative look at it. Like people, like you said, people didn't really want this movie at all. I mean, people, I don't even, like we were talking about Boba Fett with Jason, my dad. I'm like, there's a very few amount of people that actually want that movie as well. Right. So it's like, people already having bad expectations. They're very pessimistic about it. So it's like, the unfortunate thing is like, that's the reality of it. But I mean, going back to like that scene, I think that scene is like, it gets me excited because obviously we're the prequel generation. So I'm like, oh dude, he's back. But like the answers to those questions, like, wait, didn't he die in like Clone Wars? And then you pulled up your phone out and you're like, wait, no, like, because he dies in Clone Wars. How does he even get to hear? Well, I'm like, he had a time machine or something, dude. I can't explain.
I think actually when I looked it up, I saw that it was Rebels, which I haven't watched Rebels yet.
So it was Rebels?
I think so.
Yeah, because I know he was in Rebels.
Yeah,
right.
He dies in Rebels, not in Clone Wars.
Okay, so okay, all right. So then I was right then in that conversation. So I get another check.
Sure.
Cool. I got two check marks in one episode.
Yeah.
Jeez, oh my god. But I think my favorite scene was probably Chewbacca, him and Chewbacca meeting. Even though it was kind of weird, I just like I think that's Han Solo just getting out of a bad situation. I feel like that's that's one of the good signatures they kind of kept in him. That was like, because obviously he's going to
definitely
change.
Talk his way out of it.
Yeah, exactly. So like him talking him out of that situation was like, okay, that's Han Solo to me, because like he got like when they was like, oh, feed him to the monster. They're like, we have a monster, and then I was like, they have a monster? What the hell? What is going on in these front lines over here? And then we see Chewbacca come out. I'm like, oh, okay. How does this end? And then how it just was like a Han Solo kind of moment, I felt like. And that was like, I was kind of happy to see that in the beginning, and I was like, okay, maybe this movie is not going to be as bad as everyone thinks it's going to be. But that was my favorite scene.
I think what at first glance, what I thought was going to happen there was that was a Rancor pit and not Chewbacca. So like I immediately flashed back to like Jabba.
Yeah.
And like that's what I thought it was going to be.
There's something with tentacles, basically. I was like ready to see something come out.
I was ready for that door to come up and like the Rancor to walk out or whatever. But what killed, I liked the scene. I liked that was how they met. But what killed it for me was Han talking and speaking in Wookiee.
Well, I mean
that completely stabbed that whole scene.
I think it makes sense to have that because to establish that kind of relationship, like you kind of like you don't know if what's it called, Chewbacca knows English. So if he talks in Wookiee, that's the only way he's gonna like know to break that barrier. You know what I mean? So you can't really like.
But he didn't start the scene talking in Wookiee.
But like Chewbacca wasn't responding well
I guess.
To his English, like
I didn't like it.
To his
I didn't
persuasions.
like the Wookiee. I didn't like human Wookiee.
Okay, that's okay. It is what it is. It's already made.
But it was good. It was a good way for them to meet. I think.
Yeah,
still
too. Yeah. What was your least favorite scene?
Ooh, there are a few. I think off the top of my head, I don't know that this is my least favorite, but one that I hated right off the top of my head, right early on in the movie, was how he got his name. Like apparently Solo was not his last name. I didn't know that. Maybe that was already known in like the extended universe or the canon.
I forgot to talk about. Oh yeah, because like we after the movie, and then we were talking about that for a little bit, and then I was like, it would have been cool if he would have came up with it. I think
it was literally just assigned to him by like the Imperial recruiter, basically, because he didn't have a family. I'm forgetting the circumstances of it.
Well, how like I guess the Star Wars that planet works, like if you don't have a family, because he was an orphan basically.
Yeah, I guess.
So it made sense that he didn't have a last name or like a clan name or whatever.
Solo was assigned to him by a random Imperial officer.
He's like Solo. He's like
and he thought he was being all clever.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. Yeah.
So that one sticks out to me. I have to think for a little bit about what was worse.
I kind of was like, I shrugged that one off. I wasn't too pissed off about it or anything like that. I didn't like, I don't know, just like the weird scene with like the robots like rebelling.
Okay.
Like I was just like, what is going on? Like when she's like hacking everything.
She found her true calling.
I know, but I understand that. But I was just like. I was just like weirded out, just how really chaotic they made that scene and just like kind of made it weird. It just felt weird to me.
Yeah, okay.
It was like all the robots like be free and like she's taking them all. I get like why she's doing that, but like the nature of like the whole scene being like set up and stuff. I was just like, I think the most important thing is like getting like the fuel, not like getting the robots here. But it is what it is, I guess. But that was probably like one of my least favorite scenes for sure out of like. Most of them. I mean, there's an the other one would be some like the weird like what's it called? I don't know. The flying scenes were kind of weird to me. I didn't feel believable for them to survive all that stuff and like the little cloud, the clusters they were in. It just was like weird. Like they made it. They were gonna make it anyways, right? I mean,
yeah.
Like, dropping like the little fuel thing into like the I guess.
Oh yeah. Taking a drop.
It just seemed like it was like, how convenient. Yeah. Oh, just drop it in. It's super safe. I'm like, oh, dude, this is fuel that blew up that mountain. Like,
what'd you think
like
of Space Squid?
Space Squid was cool. I like Space Squid.
You like Space Squid?
I like Space Squid. But it was just like weird how like they all survived through that. Just like, I guess. Like I said, like we were gonna know, like he has to survive this whole movie, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I mean, another. I don't. Everything else is just like. Mediocre in a way to where I'm like, okay.
I kind of feel that way too.
I liked every scene with like almost all the scenes with Woody Harrelson though. I felt like he was a good character in this, especially the last scene where they have that standoff and then
Mexican standoff.
And Han's just like no bullshit. He just shoots and like you shot first. Like I would have done that. Like that made me like his character a little bit more, but I wish he would have stayed alive and like they would have met back on Tatooine or something like that. Just because I like Woody Harrelson, so.
Yeah, I think that was probably another complaint of mine for the movie is that I felt like they went out of their way to hit like the cliche moments. It's like Han shot first, There was when they deliver the fuel to that outpost, they land it, like him and Lando are standing next to each other, and Lando's like, I hate you, and Han Solo's, I know.
Well, it's like the first time they do that, though.
They're going they went out of their way to hit every single one of them. Like, I've got a good feeling about this. I think the only one maybe that they didn't hit was they were constantly, every single time that he's driving or flying something, they have to throw the dice, and like he gives them to
Emily Clark.
I'm blanking on her name.
I don't remember her name. I don't remember most names in this universe, so.
And then like she gives them back after they meet up again.
Yeah.
Like there was this huge emphasis on the Force dice. That was like their only connection to the heaping, burning pile of trash that is The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Was like the Force dice, but like in general, they just went way too far out of their way to touch all of those things. Like it's just, I don't know. Like I didn't need that. Han, I guess as the week has gone on, so it's been about like a little bit more than a week since we've seen it. As like the week's gone on, I think I like the Han shot first scene better. But at the time, I was just like, of course they did it this way.
Well, I felt like it's a transitional thing. It's where he starts to become Han. I think it's where he starts to like, I need to stop believing in people. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Again, I think it's another problem is Star Wars took this movie for granted. Like Lucasfilm and Disney took this film for granted that it was going to succeed, and I think that maybe they did too many things that are going to require a second movie.
Yeah,
because they did not expect that this movie to fail at all. They're like, oh, it's basically we're gonna slap Star Wars on it. As soon as
they hear about Darth Maul in the movie, they're gonna flock to those theaters.
Yeah,
like no, not really.
So because I don't really feel part of what I said earlier was that this movie didn't justify its existence, and I feel like I don't really feel that Han Solo is different than he was in the beginning. I don't feel like we've made it to Harrison Ford yet.
Yeah,
but at the same time, like we don't know now. It's uncertain that we're going to get a second Solo movie. So like the Maul thing, like I thought that Donald Glover was great as Lando, and like I don't know that we're going to get to see that anymore. We're not going to know anything of what's going on with Emilia Clarke taking over the little shadow organization that's working under Darth Maul.
We're still got to see when Han gets. Oh no, he gets the ship back. Never mind. He gets the ship at the very end of the end credits. Right. Yeah. I just remember that right now. But yeah. So, are we recommending this to people? I mean, we already went with our friends to go see this movie.
Yeah, I think that.
I would say it's better than Last Jedi for sure.
If you have a movie pass or something similar, I think that it's definitely worth it just for like the last 20 minutes of the movie. I think the last like 20-30 minutes are pretty good.
Yeah,
I think there are times where it gets a little bit slow. It's definitely maybe a little bit too predictable.
Okay.
Over the course of the whole thing.
It depends on the person, I guess.
But I would definitely go see it.
Yeah.
If especially with a movie pass and like as long as your movie theater isn't like $15 a ticket.
Yeah, do not go spend $15.
It's not worth $15. Yeah. Wait for Redbox.
Yeah.
Or on demand.
Or Netflix.
Yeah. Which actually, they've been pretty good about, Disney recently has been pretty good about throwing their stuff up on Netflix pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think Coco's already on Netflix.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You probably won't have to wait too long if you want to just wait for Netflix. But if you have any sort of provider, or movie pass or something similar, Cinemia, any of those like sort of companies, I think it's definitely worth your time.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next topic, which is going to be the only rest of the topic I think besides the last topic in the show. We're going to get the E3, which is this Friday starts early-ish because of EA. We're going to go through, in this specific episode, we're going to go through EA, Microsoft, Bethesda, and Ubisoft. And then the next episode will be the rest of whatever else we talk about. Which you have to go watch. And so let's get into it. EA, they are first up to bat. They're going at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, their biggest game obviously is going to be BioWare's Anthem, which I'm so not excited for. But that's okay. Then we have Battlefield 5, which is another big title. And then we have Madden 19, FIFA 19 and NHL 19, which will be the sports games of the year. I don't know if they'll probably have UFC there apparently, probably too. I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, I did.
And then NBA. But they're the two weaker titles, if anything, in those. Even the NHL is kind of the one of the weaker titles. The meat of their sports franchises are going to be Madden. Which is going to be like the same stuff we see like every year. Just a trailer saying like, "Oh look, the grass is this much finer" and stuff. You know what I mean? But Anthem. Let's get into Anthem. What are you expecting to see really out of this game?
I think that especially in the post Battlefront 2 debacle with all of I think EA really needs to hit Anthem hard to kind of earn back a little bit of goodwill.
Yeah, definitely.
With the community. I think EA, even though I think especially recently over the last few years they haven't necessarily earned it, I think that EA, they're always voted like the least popular and like the worst of like the video game companies and all that. So like definitely. I think Anthem is a little bit of an opportunity for them for like a fresh start with a new IP. They had a little bit of like scripted kind of gameplay trailer last E3.
Yeah.
Everyone's flying around in like basically Iron Man suits.
It's that's probably where I'm like I don't think I want to play this game.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm just like,
you don't like Iron Man?
I don't want to. I want to play as like a vulnerable soldier. Fool. I don't want to be like God.
But you don't know. But they haven't shown what you're up against.
Okay,
so like you could still be pretty vulnerable.
Okay, we'll see. But I mean, this game. It's not that I was not happy with Mass Effect. It's just like
yeah, I forgot about that. In a post Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Mass Effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Debacle.
So I really am not like I have really low expectations for these games, especially for I mean Battlefield 5. I think we're both gonna get easily because I just want to play something different that I haven't played in a while. I mean Battlefield 1. It's been a break since like the real like obviously Star Wars. Mm-hmm. So like. It's been like a good amount of time for me to get back into that, and I like the squatting up and whatnot. The Anthem is just like it's a game. Not that I don't want. It's not like I don't want Anthem. It's just like all right, impress me. Like do something that I've not seen, and also just make a good game. That's all I want. That's it. Can you make a good game, please? And if not, then I guess we'll wait for the next game.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair considering their recent track record. I think that it'll be fine. I think it'll be at least an enjoyable game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna get it on launch for sure, regardless of what's going on at E3. You guys are gonna be my test dummies for me, and then eventually I'll make that decision. Unless Jones wants to buy it off the bat, which he can do that if he wants. But I'm not buying this at launch.
All right.
Sure. All right. Madden 19 and FIFA, like I said, there's just gonna be regular trailers. Nothing. They're just gonna add like they're probably throw in some whatever new game environment stuff and controller stuff like you can do this with your options or whatever. And then the only good thing I've seen from Madden, I think they're going to expand on franchise mode, and what I'm hoping to is FIFA they do that as well. Obviously we're going to see like them show off Ultimate Team and like, hey guys, come buy some more packs and stuff.
So like you've been playing, I would say maybe a fair amount of Madden. Is there anything that Madden 18? Is there anything that like sticks out to you that like you want changed?
Just something that is different in the sense of like scouting, like I guess prospects in a way. Okay. Different way of doing that. Maybe expanding the expansion teams or you can relocate teams, so maybe expanding that a little bit more, making it like a little bit more control into that. Having a little bit more fun in the franchise modes. I hope they take a page out of like the out of the park kind of stuff where you can kind of like really mess with like kind of the league settings and whatnot.
Okay.
But I mean, I just want a good game, another good game. And I'll probably get Madden again because I liked last year's Madden. I was kind of happy with it. Making maybe not doing the stupid little. I mean, the thing I don't want in this game, in the FIFA, is the stupid little story mode things they've been doing.
And that's exactly what you're going to get.
I know, it's exactly what we're going to get. Which is
you're going to get Season 3 of The Journey.
It's unfortunate.
And
it's the long shot, I think.
Long shot?
I never played either.
Whatever the Madden equivalent of the story mode is.
It's something I don't want in the game, so it is what it is. Like I said, like always, like my thing is it is what it is. But hopefully they pay attention enough to other things. And I think honestly, if they start paying attention to the franchise modes, I think it'll benefit them because a lot of people will throw more YouTube videos on. I would do more YouTube videos on franchise modes if they really changed it up and made it more playable, like in the long term. But we'll see what happens, honestly. So you said you had Star Wars question mark. Oh, what do you mean by that?
Well, EA has they put out the Battlefront games, but they also have I don't know how much time that they have left, but they have basically the rights to Star Wars for the next few years.
Okay.
So they had 1313 was canceled, and then there was that other one I think last year. There was another. EA did not have a good 2017. The more I think about it, there was a whole controversy over them. There was I'm blanking on her name, but she's like a prominent game developer, and she was working on a Visceral.
From Uncharted, right? She was on
Uncharted. Right, yeah, that girl. She was working on a Star Wars game. I don't remember her name.
You're very important, by the way.
We'll look up your name. we'll dub over my voice and put her name in.
We won't do that.
Yeah. But she was working on a single player
Star Wars
story, and EA came along and canceled it. And we didn't really know too much about it, but everyone was outraged. This is exactly what we want. We want a Star Wars game that's like this.
I don't think it'll be this. If anything, they might show a trailer to that.
I think they have to. I think,
or like a teaser trailer. If the most.
I think that EA have to show something Star Wars related that's not Battlefront, because another thing. Did they ever do the Last Jedi DLC? That's another thing that could come up is Last Jedi DLC for Battlefront.
I don't know how to play Battlefront, so.
But I think that the clock is ticking on their Star Wars license. I think that they've already basically guaranteed that they're not going to get it back. So I want to see.
Wasted it twice.
Right. I want to see at least one decent game come out of the license.
I mean, that also could be their last way of trying to get it to renew. But if they strike out with either the next Battlefront, which I don't think they're going to make, I feel like unless they feel like there's enough money there to where they'll make, but they don't. I don't think they really care about criticism at all, honestly.
Sometimes it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, but
they need to get something done. So they have that license, and then there's a few other things that we might see some sort of spin-off or a sequel to. They have Need for Speed, they have Dragon Age, they have. I
could see one of those two being on there as well.
Titanfall.
No more of that.
I think Titanfall would be a much bigger title for them. I think it already is kind of a big title for them, but their problem is that they keep throwing it out in the fall, and we'll get to it a little bit later.
Well, the problem with the Titanfall 2 is they released it with Battlefield 1, I think.
I think it was the week after.
Yeah, it was
it was maybe the same day.
They should have just, if anything, they should have just pushed it to the spring release.
They sent that game out to die.
Yeah, so that's. Again, like I said, I don't know who's working their PR over there, but they're obviously not listening.
So I think Battlefield is kind of a bit of a sure thing. I think that it'll be successful unless they really mess up. I think it'll be fine.
Battlefield 1 was a good game. Yeah, it was fine.
So I think that they really need to do really well with Anthem, and then I think they'll hit us at the end. It'll be kind of a dull. Their press conference always gets a little bit dull when they hit the sports games because it's pretty much. Basically, kind of a niche audience.
It's super niche, obviously.
Yeah, especially compared to all the general public that get drawn into E3.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the sports period of the EA press conference is always a little bit dull. But they the Star Wars thing will be the one more thing. I don't think they're close enough on any of these games.
Yeah,
on any of the Star Wars games that they're working on anyway.
Next fall.
Right. So it'll be a little teaser trailer. They have to show something.
Okay. All right, I can see that happening. But are we good on EA?
I think we're good on EA.
We're good on EA. All right, well, let's move on to Bethesda. We'll say Microsoft for last, I guess.
Okay.
Unless you want to do Microsoft now.
No.
Okay. Bethesda, obviously their biggest title is probably going to be the Fallout 76 game.
Yeah.
And then you got Rage 2. And then you put a lot of question marks on basically
other
title.
Franchises that they have.
Yeah. Before we get into Fallout 76 or Rage 2, which one of the other ones you put on the question mark we'll see either a teaser or actual trailer to? Dishonored seems a little too soon. Wolfenstein seems too soon.
I would say Wolfenstein definitely too soon. Quake Champions is still a thing. I don't know that we've heard anything about it since last E3. but that's something that we could hear about. Prey DLC, maybe the Starfield that I have listed on here. They've talked about that, like basically their reasoning for not yet having Elder Scrolls is if they're trying to introduce a third pillar into. So like they're not going to be. What they're trying to do with Starfield. It's like another RPG. It's set in space.
Okay.
And like it's going to be so like they traditionally they're like Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Elder Scrolls. Basically is what they, and then they've added new things recently like Doom and Wolfenstein and stuff like that. But like they want Starfield to be that third RPG, like mainline thing. So
so like every three years.
That's like the rumored title for what the art. It may not end up being called Starfield, but I think that's like at least like the project title. And so like we might hear about that. I'm just triggered that we're getting another Fallout game.
Well, I don't think this is going to be a Fallout game. Though.
It's not going to be like it may not be single player. Like RPG Fallout game, but another Fallout game before we even hear about. I would have been fine if they said Elder Scrolls 6 2029 and then announce Fallout. But we've heard nothing from Elder Scrolls, and we're getting another Fallout game.
I think the problem with that.
Trigger warning.
I think they're gonna go. Not that I don't like the predictions. We don't know what this game is gonna be. Honestly, with Fallout 76, it could be anything. Like people have like analyzed that.
The
trailer.
rumor is like Rust. Like survival kind
so
of
it's
game,
like it's not even
style.
I don't think that would fit. I mean, it could actually fit with Skyrim, but like they've already done like a weird thing, but like with the MMO. So they've already done the weird thing with Elder Scrolls. And Elder Scrolls Online kind of came pretty soon after Elder Scrolls Skyrim. It wasn't that like far off. I think it was like 2 or 3 years.
Oh, if you count that as not being far off, okay.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So like Fallout 4 was like 2 to 3 years away from here, so it makes kind of sense in a way to do that weird kind of like spin-off. But like I said, if it's like one of those, I think I'm kind of somewhat excited for that game, but I won't be excited until I see the press conference. Survival game or not, I always like the Fallout franchise. I didn't really like Fallout 4 as much, just because I didn't get my fangs into it as much, and it didn't catch me, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it could be anything. It literally could be anything.
I kind of hope that it's. I like the idea of a Rust style kind of Fallout game. There's been all sorts of stuff that I've read about like about what Vault 76 was supposed to be, and it was like a control. So in all the Fallout games, prior Fallout games, all the vaults kind of tend to be these like social experiments.
Yeah, it's really messed up.
Yeah, basically. But so supposedly, Fallout 76 was a control group. So like they weren't like trying to do anything to them or study them in any way. So I don't know if that's going to lead into the story. One thing that I'm a little bit afraid of is that if Fallout 76 is a survival game, that it's going to step all over Rage 2, because Rage 2 is like a post-apocalyptic. Like they're both post-apocalyptic.
Well, I think,
and like Rage 2 is kind of a survival game.
We'll see where the release titles go, because Rage 2 can be an early fall title, and then
I think they actually already said that it's 2019.
2019?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I think Infinity will be a spring title, so it won't even
probably
I don't think it will conflict as much. But I think people will get over the Fallout game by that time, or just be like, just at that point to where like, what else do I have to do in this game? But who knows? Because if it is a survival game, it's gonna depend. Because like everyone's gonna come out with those kind of like battle royales kind of games that are kind of not similar. But
I don't think they're gonna touch the battle royale. Not with this anyway.
Okay, well I don't know.
Because I think that like I think the survival game could work well just in like the environment that they have and with the base building that they added in Fallout 4. That's something that I really enjoyed. The only thing really that I wish is that like you could have mined the whole environment more, and not just like mining the areas that they cut out for you.
I mean, they could have just like took ideas from people that modded and stuff and basically copied and pasted.
Maybe, yeah, because one thing that always got me a little bit with like the base building is that like you couldn't walk up to any tree and get wood. Yeah. Like,
I see what you're saying.
But you were confined to like the little areas that they.
Yeah, so maybe they were limited. Expansion. Yeah.
So like I want like even if it's a smaller area, I want it to be like something that like you can interact with everything around you.
Okay.
That
All right. So let's move on from Fallout and then Rage 2. What do you want to talk about for Rage 2?
Well, we don't know too much about it. I'm a really big fan of the first Rage game.
So this is a game you wanted eventually.
Yes.
Okay. I think a lot of people, the majority of people, or not majority, there's a lot of question marks on like why they're making that second one. I feel, which is valid and not valid at the same time. I mean, you said it was a good game, like you always say, criminally underrated game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't, like I said, I'm excited for this game. It looks like fun.
Yeah.
I might play Mad Max a little bit before I play that one, just to get a feel for it.
And Mad Max is available on. That's another thing is we'll get to Microsoft I guess later, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the first either maybe the first Rage make it onto either backwards compatibility or Game Pass, or something like that. I think that they're going to want to get some people. So they'll play that game for free just to like get them hyped for Rage 2.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, anything else for Bethesda?
Please just
Elder Scrolls.
Just give me like.
Hey guys, at the end, here we go.
Just give me the logo for Elder Scrolls 6.
Or I would say it would be like a 2019 fall.
Then we better get something.
But like, we didn't know about Fallout until
I don't care.
E3.
It's been too long.
So I mean, we'll see.
It's been a whole generation that we haven't even heard a peep.
Okay.
Except for, watch, they're gonna walk out. They're gonna say like, Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim is playable on your microwave before we ever find out about Elder Scrolls 6.
I would love it because like how Bethesda just doesn't care about like how they do their kind of conferences. It'd be cool if like that was the first thing they showed. That was it, and like yours just like.
I wouldn't want that just because like, I wouldn't listen to anything else. That they had to say.
People are like, oh my god! The whole time, people are like, "Is that? Can we get more, please?" And it's just like, "Well, no, we're gonna show you everything else." Oh, that'd be hilarious.
I expect that we'll hear about Quake, Prey. I think they're kind of done with Prey. Dishonored a little too soon. Curious about Starfield. Wolfenstein too soon. There's been some rumors about Doom 2. I didn't play the first one. Doom's not really my thing.
Doom is it's like Halo on steroids, really.
Okay, well, we'll see what they do with Doom. I think they'll probably do something with that.
All right, guys. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to Ubisoft, which is the last of the third party. Third party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of the ones that we're going to cover. We did skip Devolver and we skipped Square. Square basically is like, let's find out if Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out this year, which they should have come out like 2 years ago. And they're also the home of JRPGs.
And like the next Final Fantasy game that'll come out in like 5 years.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Anyways, so Ubisoft, big games that we've already seen like sneak peeks of: Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Division 2, and I think that's it. And then you had Mario and Rabbids DLC, Crew 2, Beyond Good and Evil 2. Oh no, actually we've seen that, but never mind.
Beyond Good and Evil 2 was
last
there was
year.
a trailer last year.
Yeah. And then For Honor DLC, which I don't know why is that thing. Splinter Cell, question mark, and then we got Far Cry 5 DLC, and then Watch Dogs, question mark. I don't think that's too soon for that.
Too soon for Watch Dogs 3? Even a teaser?
Well, I don't think people wanted Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play it, but
like, I think that'd be too soon to have that. I think I would see like a sequel to like a Ghost Recon before I see that. I think didn't Ghost.
Oh, I did leave Ghost Recon off. Yeah.
Or even like
Wildlands.
a Siege 2 before that for some reason. I don't know why they would. I mean, if they want to make more money, Siege 2 would be a thing on there. I would expect maybe you see another version of Siege or another like.
I don't think they'll
Vegas or something like that.
I think they're too far down the Rainbow Six Siege rabbit hole with the like seasons that they have planned. Because like they've said, I don't think this is at all possible, but they've said that they want to get to 100 operators.
That's ridiculous. I mean, that's just. I mean, I can see that, but like I guess it's going to be like their CS:GO kind of title, or kind of they found like a good niche there to where it's like people are consistently coming back to them.
There are more people playing that game now than there was like when that game launched,
which is good. That's a good.
Yeah,
thing.
that's exactly what you want.
When that came out, that was my game of the year for that year.
Really?
Yeah, because I thought it hooked me.
One thing with Siege, why I would rather see a Siege 2 than them to just continue spitting out operators is I want to see the destructibility improve. I think that game, Rainbow Six Siege, is great. It's a great game, but it's not the environments are not as destructible as they could have been, even at the time. I feel like if you watch the original trailer that they put out for Rainbow Six Siege, like before that, like the first time we heard about it, you can basically put your charges anywhere and blow a hole anywhere. Especially when going between floors. Like the scene that they had set up was there was like a hostage being held in the basement, and they blew a hole in the floor like wherever they wanted. It wasn't this like hatch nonsense.
I think they're gonna keep the hatches. I think that just keeps it balanced. It's just part of the game already. Like it's just a thing that's gonna be there.
I just want to see more destructive.
Maybe like a you could play a mode that was like that, like the competitive mode will have the hatch, but like a non-competitive mode, I think that's that's like your long shot now.
Do you think like casuals they keep the hatches and then like ranked there's no hatches?
No, I meant ranked they have hatches regardless because they have hatches. Period. I'm saying like period. The game period, like the competitive version will have that hatches just to prevent that craziness from happening because that's too unpredictable for that. I think
that's the whole point.
I guess, but I'm just saying like. They have a system already. I think they're not going to go away from the formula they have. So, you said also Skull and Bones. What's that?
So last E3 they announced it's basically like the pirate scenes from Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. They're basically making a game out of that. It's like online multiplayer ship versus ship.
Is this like a ripoff? Not a ripoff, but like their version of Sea of Thieves?
No, I think it's literally just like ship combat. I don't think that they've shown too much about it, but like from the trailer, it basically just looks like. Did you play Black Flag?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, it basically just seems like the open sea like combat.
Okay, well hopefully we see something like that, I guess. So let's get into the bigger title. Which got leaked through like a keychain, and then I think they released like a.
There was an article I saw that there have been 13 Assassin's Creed titles that have been leaked prior to E3 that have been then confirmed. and Ubisoft already did confirm that Odyssey was they're like
because you saw I saw the big old.
I'm hyped. I love Assassin's Creed. I've played every single Assassin's Creed except for like the 2D side-scrolling ones.
Yeah. My problem with this, I think it's too early. I think they should have waited another year. Honestly, I feel like this should have been like a not a yearly title, but a 2-year title.
You wanted them to stay with the 2-year development cycle?
Yeah, I think that would have been.
But better. We don't know how long they've been working on this one.
I don't care how long they've been working on it. I want 2 years. I don't like the formula of like having that kind of game every year in a way.
So even for like Call of Duty, even though it's 3 different, Call of Duty is released every year, but I feel it's on a 3-year cycle.
They're copying that kind of formula. Like Call of Duty did it first, so I feel like it's okay for them to do it.
Okay.
But Assassin's Creed, I feel like it's the single player experience. I think they should take their time more on that.
Okay.
Is it the same studio from last year?
I'm not sure. I mean, Ubisoft has studios all over.
Yeah,
everywhere. So probably not the same studio because at least. Well, they were still putting out Origins DLC like just a few months ago, so it's probably not the same.
Okay, hopefully it's not, because if it is, then like I don't have a lot of hope for this.
It's
game.
probably
I like the setting though. The setting sounds awesome.
I would guess that it's probably a different studio. I think maybe like Montreal did Origins.
Okay.
And maybe like who hasn't been doing anything for a while? I know they have a studio in Paris that did Unity because that game was set in France.
Okay.
So maybe someone like that. I imagine that it is like one of their European-based studios that's working on Odyssey because it's set in Greece.
Unless they have a new studio in Greece, then that would make sense.
Probably.
But yeah, okay.
Do you like what do you think of the Greek setting?
I like the Greek setting because I feel like maybe that's where this is where Assassin's Creed starts.
That's why they made Assassin's Creed Origins.
Oh wait, Origins is older. Yeah, not bad. Sorry, I'm stupid. Anyways,
Assassin's Creed Origins is the origins of Assassin's Creed.
No, so that's what I was thinking. Because never mind. I don't know. I had a dumb moment there. No, I like the. I mean, it'd be interesting if they incorporate like the actual Odyssey, like the tale of the Odyssey somehow into this. It'd be kind of interesting to have that. Like you actually run into a Cyclops.
Oh really?
That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, actually, I wouldn't be surprised at all because you didn't play Origins, did you?
No.
Okay, well the like post game, you're fighting the Egyptian gods.
Yeah. See.
So like you're definitely gonna be spawn with Zeus in this game.
What's up, Zeus?
Yeah.
Catching lightning and stuff, dude.
Yeah. So like they'll definitely play with the Greek gods a little bit, and that's something that they've never shied away from. Like even the original Assassin's Creed had like that sort of thing. I really like the Greek setting. I think they'll have a little bit of creative freedom as to like how I'm curious what the map is going to look like. Origins, it was basically like a map of northeastern Egypt. It was like everything that was along the Nile.
Okay.
You could hit all the like Alexandria, Memphis, like all the big cities that were.
I thought the Odyssey was before. I felt like that was before Alexander.
But Alexander Origins is after Alexander even, because like
but isn't the Odyssey before that?
Probably. I don't know.
So then, like, this is the Origins.
No, I doubt
it. Okay, whatever.
It's set in the Greek Empire. I wouldn't put too much in the Odyssey name being connected to the Odyssey book. Okay,
we'll see. Well, then I don't like that.
But I definitely think you're gonna like Assassin's Creed always has like the historical characters that you run into. So like in Origins it was Cleopatra, and before it's been like all sorts of it was like Alexander Graham Bell, I think, and Da Vinci. So I think you'll definitely get one of Socrates, Plato, or Aristotle. If I had to put money down, I'd put it that it's Aristotle. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for it. I'm always excited for Assassin's Creed. Please bring back multiplayer.
All right, we're gonna do the DLC stuff real quick. Between, do you even care about Mario and Rabbids?
I think that game is much more successful than it had any right to be. So I would not at all be surprised. Okay. In fact, I think they already announced some of the DLC, so we'll probably just talk about what that's going to be.
Okay. For Honor.
That game needs to die.
Is it?
Yeah.
Far Cry 5.
Didn't play Far Cry 5. Far Cry is a franchise that's never really grabbed me. I'm sure that it was just as successful as they always are. So
I'm going to get it when it goes on sale for sure. So I kind of like the setting. It seemed interesting, but hopefully we'll see some cool DLC out of it because they always come out with it's usually like a DLC for those games that are better than the actual game. Which makes no sense.
Do you think they could sneak a Primal 2 in there?
Maybe.
That's the only Far Cry game that I really like.
I think it'll be too soon for that.
Okay.
But yeah, because they're gonna.
Because to me, like a Primal 2 could definitely be one of those games that was like not the main studio.
I think because they took a year off of Far Cry, so I'm hoping they take another year off of Far Cry. So, and then let's do real quick Beyond Good and Evil.
We'll probably get some gameplay. I think last E3 was just the teaser trailer. We'll probably see some gameplay, what that's going to be like.
Alright. Last but not least, the hot trash of hot trash. Division 2. You want to talk about Splinter Cell? No. Oh, wait, my bad, sorry. I forgot about that.
The Division 2 is another one of those games that has more. I think it ended up with more people playing than when it started.
No, I think it dipped in numbers, and that's why people say. I think that's why it's not as successful. I think how Siege was, in those numbers. I feel like there's a.
Oh, maybe not.
I feel the initial launch numbers.
I think that game is more successful
back
than people
up
think.
To those launch numbers.
We've talked about the potential of everyone kind of throwing their hat in the ring for a battle royale. Of all the Ubisoft titles, this to me is the one
that makes sense.
That should end up with the battle royale. I think that the combat, it's third person.
You can easily fly in and stuff.
Right. I don't know if they would incorporate the evacuation points like they did in the
red zone,
the quarantine.
Yeah, the quarantine.
Yeah. So, but I think that the Division 2 would be the easiest one to make some sort of battle royale mode for.
Okay.
Even maybe if it's just maybe they don't get to a Division 2, but just an expansion pack for the first game.
Sounds good to me, man. I guess I don't know. I'll probably get it.
I would try it. I think it would work.
Splinter Cell, because we haven't got a Splinter Cell in a good minute.
Please.
That's what I'm saying. it would make sense for them to have like maybe a Splinter Cell game, and then the next year's Assassin's Creed Splinter Cell. I feel like those are like the single player titles.
Yeah.
So I feel like I would be more comfortable in those games and like getting those games and playing them before like on launch if that was the case. Just because I feel like the yearly titles just
Well, I mean,
they burn.
It's been like 5 or 6 years since we got Blacklist was the last one. That was like, I want to say that was like the last summer. Maybe the summer before, but I want to say it was the last summer before the Xbox One came out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
when Blacklist came out.
Yeah, because like that's you and Josh like love those games.
I love Splinter Cell. It's my favorite of like the Tom Clancy like
games.
Yeah, all the different like because like basically half of the titles are all Tom Clancy.
I think it's the
games.
oldest too out of all of them.
Rainbow Six is pretty old.
Because I know they had a Splinter Cell game on PS2.
Yeah, and
I would dare to say like PS1 as well.
They might have. I don't know exactly how far it goes. It's definitely, if not the oldest, probably the second oldest of the titles. I think that especially in the void that has been created by basically the end of Metal Gear. I think that like they're still making Metal Gear games, but they're not like
full titles.
Metal Gear Survive or whatever is not at all what Metal Gear Solid 5 was. So I think that like if they're not gonna make any Metal Gear games that are like that anymore, Splinter Cell is something that could fill that void.
Okay.
Stealth combat kind of thing.
Well, I mean, you have Assassin's Creed, but what else?
But Assassin's Creed is not really. They don't punish you for not being stealthy.
Okay.
I guess you could say that about Splinter Cell as well, but Splinter Cell is like
pretty good.
Splinter Cell is much more of a stealth game.
Well, we might even just get like a whole new title that's similar to Splinter Cell as well. Maybe they might want to try to branch off and like try to just have a new IP that's very similar play style.
Or next new IP.
Okay.
Skull and Bones is their new IP. That shows you the amount of risk that even big companies like Ubisoft are willing to take. Because like they're not expecting Skull and Bones to sell more than like 100,000 copies. Like they're not gonna just throw a new IP out there and die, which is like sadly what happens.
Well, I think they needed to rejuvenate themselves a couple years, and that's why we got like Division and Siege and all those games, trying to like catch some eyes and get some audience or get some like loyal players in there as well. But we'll see with Ubisoft. They're the ones I'm least excited for, I think, out of all of these. But
I don't know. Assassin's Creed always does it for me. So.
Well, I'm saying that's Assassin's Creed is your game. I don't have none of these games are my game.
Okay.
Oh, and Crew 2 is on there as well, which will release this month.
Yeah.
Which is like cars racing game, cool.
Woo
woo woo.
I'm surprised that second game exists.
I don't even know. I didn't hear anything good or bad for the first one.
Exactly. So I'm surprised the second one exists.
All right, so we're gonna get into the last of the E3 for this episode, which is Microsoft / Xbox. I think this is gonna have to be a big one for them. I feel like in the sense of just hitting everything right.
Mm-hmm.
Ones that we already know about is Crackdown 3, and I think that's it on this list. That's for sure confirmed, right?
Right.
Besides the Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2 DLC, like you threw out, through the Walmart leaks, we had Gears of War 5 and Forza Horizon 5, and then you even threw out like your quick, like just like Hail Marys or like Halo 6, Perfect Dark 2. The streaming services, I think we're probably gonna. There's a likelihood we're probably gonna get that.
Okay.
Or if not, they'll say like we're working on it or something like that, or you know what I mean. They'll have like a later release.
Mm-hmm.
Fable, We Happy Few. I've never heard of that before.
It's in Xbox game preview right now. It's a very BioShock-esque sort of single player game.
Okay.
It's been in preview. Oh man, probably at least a year now, but it has never reached its full release.
So we might get a release for that. Okay.
I think it was last E3. They had like a gameplay trailer. I don't know if you remember this or not. It was like the premise is the government or whatever it is that's like overseeing these people, it like makes you take pills to like keep you basically like sedated, but like if you're taking the pills, like you're like happy. And so like, and then like in the trailer, in the trailer, it's like the player like you get like the option to like take it or not, and then like the story kind of diverges from there. And like it was like he was responsible in the trailer. He was responsible for redacting like newspaper articles. Do you remember this? It was last year at E3, and like so like his job was to like block out certain parts of like the articles, and like you could choose like what like to like let the article pass.
Yeah.
Or like it's like very decision based, like kind of single player game. There's a game I have it downloaded.
I'll have to double check that.
But it's like definitely like in the BioShock kind of vein.
Okay, that makes sense. That's kind of cool. I like that.
And the art style is very similar to
it. Then we got Cuphead 2, and then PUBG info, which is probably going to be them talking about how they're working with Xbox and whatnot. And then bundling Xbox Live Gold with Games Pass.
I think this is a no-brainer. I think that
this goes with like the streaming too, in a way.
Yeah, a little bit. I think that just like there's no reason for these things to be separate anymore. I think Xbox Live Games Pass has been, I would say, a success.
Oh, definitely.
I think that they're seeing it
above water.
I think that they're seeing it with even State of Decay 2. They announced, I think it was yesterday, that State of Decay 2 has passed like 2 million like separate users. I think that part of that is in fact like due to the fact that like you can pay $10 and play the game.
Yeah.
So I think that it's been a really good thing for them. I think that it's a no-brainer for them to include it in Gold. I would be okay with it, like even if like I think Gold right now is $60 a year still. Like say it goes up to like $80, but you get Game Pass for the whole year.
That was still a decent deal.
Right. I think that's a great deal.
Yeah.
And they've already announced that Games Pass is gonna like whenever the next Gears comes out, whenever the next Halo comes out,
it's already gonna
be there.
Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna force maybe like not eventually, but maybe PlayStation might go in this avenue. But I think they're already making enough money like on those games alone without even with the Games Pass, because they have a lot of trust in what they're bringing out on their first party games.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like I said, it's keeping them above water easily, and it keeps those people that are like, what's cheaper, in a way. And like, I remember telling my sister about this after she bought the PS4. She was like, "What? I could have bought this, and I had this for $10." Because Maddie's like, he's not a very specific kid, or they just got this console and I kind of threw it at him in a way.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, they have a lot of kid-friendly games on there as well, and you probably would have been able to like just play whatever game on there. I mean, like you would have saw him like in a couple years and be like, how many games you played? Like, I only got through half of it, probably. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into the big titles. Halo 6 probably gonna be a teaser trailer, you would say.
You were saying when we started this that this has to be a really big year for Microsoft. I think that it can't be a big year for Microsoft if they don't at least tease Halo 6. What I'm worried about is that so it could go two ways. I think that Halo 6 is coming soon, within the next 2 falls. By fall 2019, Halo 6
it would
is
have
out.
to come by next fall.
Or they go like the ODST route, and there's another Halo title, and they keep Halo 6 for like the next console.
I think I don't know. I feel like maybe they've already seen the sinking ship, so that's why they would hold off. But I think that would be disappointing. I think that's kind of a bad stain on this console generation for them. Because like they really have not delivered any kind of first party title. Period. That's like up there with, Last of Us and Uncharted's and even God of War's.
Yeah.
But I think like
I understand that those games are like critically successful and like most people enjoy them. For me personally, like none of those games none of the PlayStation exclusives interest me.
Yeah, but I think that's why they're separate. Like I think why Nintendo isn't worried about like their titles and stuff in a sense. I thought like they're like in their own universe.
Well, yeah.
But I feel like when people play video games generally, like when you hear someone, I think there's too many of the majority saying like these games are just far superior in a way, because like that's what's supposed to be on a console, like this kind of console. It's not supposed to be like something that isn't that at that quality.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think that the Xbox is definitely aware of the like huge gulf that there is between them and PlayStation at this point. I think it seems like every year or so we get that. So Microsoft never announces like the number of Xboxes that have been sold, but PlayStation does, and then EA always comes along and they're like, oh well, we like they get so PlayStation I think is coming up on 80 million PS4s, and then EA, I think it's EA, like each of the last 2 or 3 years they give this number of like consoles that are in the like all consoles that are available, and so like we know the PlayStation number, so we can kind of infer the Xbox number from like that number that we get from the third party. So like they're being outsold in a best case scenario. They're being outsold 2-1. Yeah, if not worse than that.
I think it's worse than that.
And but what I think Xbox has done a really good job of over the last couple of years is like the Games Pass and like all the service. Like Xbox Live was already better than the PlayStation equivalent, and it's like done nothing but get even.
I think you can. That's a good thing saying, but I feel when you have good service, but you don't have anything that's good to play on it, I think that's the problem.
I think that we'll see.
I think that's just the problem they're not seeing right now. When we look at Sea of Thieves, we play that game for 2 weeks because like we saw that oh man, this game is more of a grind.
It is a grind,
and like do we like Destiny? That was a no.
But Destiny though is like not a console exclusive, but basically everybody thinks it's an exclusive.
Yeah,
because like
that's another problem right there. They don't. That's why marketing is really bad.
That's why I think this E3 we're gonna see Xbox stretch a little bit. They're gonna perhaps overpay to end up with marketing deals. Although I think like Assassin's Creed Odyssey we were talking about. I think if I remember correctly, Origins was the marketing deals with Xbox as well. So like I wouldn't be surprised to see Odyssey marketed there. I think they should stretch and try to get Splinter Cell, like get Ubisoft to have like the marketing deals there. And then what I think we're gonna see is maybe two relatively big third-party studios where Xbox steps out, gives them a huge chunk of change, and like their next game is an exclusive.
That's what I would like to see.
Like the stuff that we don't know about.
But I think also they need a strong new title. Because I feel like the last 5 years they have not had that kind of that thing that's holding the table with like Gears and Halo, you know what I mean? Like there's just like not a pillar there that's holding it up for me right now.
I guess.
Like Crackdown 3, I'm like, oh, okay, that's nice. I'm not a little kid anymore. I'm sorry, but like this game doesn't excite me. Like I like the idea of it, but it's not something that's gonna draw. I mean, I'm an adult now, so it's not drawing my attention. You know what I mean? That's just a personal thing. But Halo 6, yeah, but was Halo 5 a good game?
Better than Halo 4.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the
multiplayer was great.
Like Gears of War 4, was that a good game?
I enjoyed it. I got more than 100 hours out of Gears 4.
Okay, but like, I just don't think it's holding. There's not enough weight held here. I would enjoy Perfect Dark, a modern version of Perfect Dark in this console like environment. I would enjoy that. Fable, come back to me when you have a real game. Cuphead 2, PUBG stuff, that's kind of cool and nice, but
I don't know. The Cuphead 2 is not at all something that's been confirmed.
Yeah,
like I just threw that out there as like, is it possible? I think Cuphead might have too long of a development cycle because everything's hand drawn. Mm-hmm. So it might be a little bit challenging there. But Cuphead, I don't know. The Xbox first party scene for me, I think is, I won't say criminally underrated, but I don't think that Xbox is not failing this generation. I think they definitely they failed. They had a poor start, coming out with like still having the Kinect.
Yeah.
Like making this kind of one box for everything sort of thing instead of focusing on games. Like it hurt them, and you're seeing like they never recovered from that. That's why PlayStation has 80 million PS4s and Xbox doesn't. Like, but personally anyway, I feel that the first party games have been slightly underrated. I think that Quantum Break is. I will say Quantum Break is criminally underrated. A lot of people think that Sunset Overdrive is criminally underrated. I think that maybe we're getting used to Gears and Halo, but like they were still good entries in the series.
Okay.
So I think that like this Xbox is in a bad state compared to PlayStation, but if you were looking at Xbox just as it is right now, they'd be doing fine. But PlayStation is doing exceptional, and that's why we think Xbox is doing poorly.
But I think Xbox isn't like. I feel like they're not even trying to get to be exceptional, though.
But should they at this point?
Well, that's the problem, though. They should have already been.
Like, why not win the next generation? Like, it's
well,
over.
What about
already.
this generation?
It's over already. It's been over for 2 years.
But that's my problem. That's what I'm saying. Like, why weren't we? I felt like I was shorthanded in a way. I felt like especially Halo 5, I was not handed. That was.
I don't know. I just don't feel like PlayStation. You cannot deny the success that PlayStation has had, but they have the inferior hardware. They have the inferior services. They don't have a Games Pass. They don't have as wide breadth of backwards compatibility on.
But I think that's
PS4. They have a better online service. They have a more consistent online service. It's the PSN goes down all the time.
I don't know. I think I'm just disappointed. I think that's what it is. I had high expectations. I was very optimistic about them this generation, and it didn't pan out. And like, it's not that I'm gonna go buy a PlayStation over next generation over Xbox, because like, I don't know. I don't know why I keep buying an Xbox. It doesn't make any sense. I guess.
The only reason you need to keep buying an Xbox is the controller.
Okay, that's you.
You can't play. I don't understand how people play games on my controller. All I have is MLB The Show, and I can't play games on my controller.
I don't know. But okay. We'll see what happens with Microsoft. This is the one I'm going to be paying attention to the most.
They got to be all in.
And all the conferences, because this is my console, but I want to brag about my console. Like, you know, when you talk about, like, I want to brag about my bitch, this is the thing I want to brag about. I want to brag about my bitch. Because, like, there's too many PlayStation players I hang out with outside of the group. Okay. But yeah. So, that's been it for the E3 stuff.
E3 Part 1.
We're going to take a breather, in a sense, and get to a random topic, which is going to be fun. We still got topics. We got some newer topics in there that I did not write myself.
Why is it always me?
Because that's what's the fun part. I don't know what the topic's going to be. What is the topic?
It says, what are some of your weirdest quirks or habits?
That one's Stephanie wrote that one. So I had Stephanie, my girlfriend, write.
I could tell just because it was legible.
Shut up. But yes, what are your weird quirks and what was it? Habits. Rabbits. You eat slow.
Yeah, I do eat slow. But is that a habit though? Yeah. Like, I don't do so intentionally. That's just the way I eat. I guess that's a quirk. Okay. I do eat slow.
We call you the bird sometimes. I remember, like, when we started eating, like, I was like, is this guy gonna use food? Like, did he forget that he has, like, French fries right there? But no, you eat your stuff at one at a time, basically. That's the real reason why you eat slow.
I guess, kind of. I don't know. That's just the way I eat.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I'm throwing one out because, like, you were thinking. You take your time.
I bounce when I'm focused, I'm like constantly looking at this.
Okay.
Like constantly, like if I'm writing or like just focused on what I'm doing, I have this just like weird like thing that goes on. I don't know what it is. I bounce my another thing too. Like I bounce my legs a lot. Like if I'm just like sitting or like.
Yeah.
I have to like consciously like.
Would reading out loud be a habit? Because remember you said like, you have to talk.
I'm a really slow reader too, so.
I do that sometimes.
It's almost like there's a term for it. It's like self-vocalization. I don't know, some sort of like technical term for like when you're talking inside your head, like when you're reading or whatever. But like basically, I can only read as fast as if I was like reading to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just So it takes me forever to go through books, which is really frustrating. Because like you like fly through books, and other people I know fly like, oh yeah, I read this 400 pages in 3 days. It was like, it was a great book. I was like, yeah, I'm on page 25 because I'm just sitting here like reading through it.
Well, I think I only fly through books that I really enjoy. If I really enjoy that book, I was like, I read it quick.
Yeah.
But sometimes that might be a bad thing because sometimes I don't absorb as much if I'm reading quicker as well, which is the thing. Which when I read now, I start to write notes after I read. Especially with the Federalist Papers, I have to like read that, write something down, and then I watch a video that explained it, just in case. I'm like,
okay.
I grasp something out of that.
I guess another quick for me would be like hats, kind of in general. I feel really weird not having a hat on.
What's that? And sandals.
I wear flip flops, though. That's just a comfort thing.
What's a hat?
Yeah. Like I wear hats all the time. I don't know. Like if I don't have a hat on, my head feels weird.
I get that same because like I kind of switch over to hats in a way just because of summer. Once the winter openings will come back, that's because I also have long hair and I just don't want to put the time in for it at the moment. Which is almost been. I think it's been a year. Like I think next week since I cut my hair, which is like crazy. People are like, "What? You cut your hair in a year?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'm doing a thing. Like it."
Do you have any quirks?
Not that I could think of off the top of my head. I think when I played Madden, I visualize myself being like the actual coach, and like after a play's over, because when I was actually coaching, I would always like look at the clock. So like for some stupid reason, I always like look up, but I'm looking at the wall, and I'm like, "There's no clock there. What the hell am I doing?" I do that sometime. But yeah, I don't think when I play video games, there's nothing weird.
I definitely thought of another one for me.
When I write notes, I'm like, I doodle too much, I feel. That's like a thing that I do. Other than that, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that's like weird. I always have like I think it's a good habit when I drive is like literally looking like a 360 before I like go through an intersection regardless. Which is like kind of, I don't know, that's just like me going back to the thing of like keeping me up at night. But I don't think anything else. I think that's pretty much it.
I think that when I'm playing, another one I thought of was like playing video games, especially sports video games, where I have like a certain level of like knowledge or awareness of like what would be happening in real life, and then stupid things happen.
This is because we just got out of the park. 19
out of the park, MLB The Show, FIFA, like those are like the main 3 sports games I would say, and just like things that happen. You know, I like throw an off-speed pitch outside in MLB The Show, and the guy swings early but hits a home run. And you're just like, oh, so this is how it's gonna be. This is how it's gonna be today. And then I swing early on the outside pitch, and it's a ground ball to third, like how it actually should be.
Your pitcher throws balls like, hey, treat yourself.
Yeah, and just like especially when I go full tilt, I have this like sarcastic laugh that like kind of comes out a little bit.
But like it's a thing where you're on we're on the mic and everything, and you're just like all you hear is the laugh, and you're like, then you'll hear the criticism after that. That's the thing you'll hear, because like that's like Anthony's favorite thing. It's not like after a while he's like he'll probably leave the party, but like that's just like the first thing is like, oh man, Jacob's getting triggered, which is funny. It is what it is. I mean, you have an expectation. I guess that's all it is.
I don't think it's
yeah, I can't think of anything else that's that I can really point out. Yeah, I think that's it. I didn't think of. I think I'm not as weird as I thought I am. That's a good thing, I guess. Maybe I don't know, or a bad thing. But yes, that has been the whole meat of the the whole podcast. I don't know why I keep on saying meat. That was episode 2, everyone. Episode 3 will actually come probably soon after this one. If you haven't already, go ahead and please subscribe. Go ahead and like the video if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to us, go ahead and follow us, please. And go ahead and also hit the heart button or whatever review thing. Please give us 1,000 stars out of 5. Yeah. And we'll see you guys next time. I have been Richard Rodillo,
I'm Jacob Ward.
and we'll see you guys next time. Be safe out there and have some fun. Bye.